Wentz Financial Group presents Zips Basketball Weekly with John Groce, investment management for your lifetime. Hosted by Joe Dunn. Contributing sponsors include Summa Health. It's your health. Let's own it together. Hilton Akron Fairlawn, the preferred hotel of Zips Athletics. And the Spaghetti Warehouse, famous for its 15-layer lasagna.
Hello again, everyone. Welcome to another edition of Zips Basketball Weekly with head coach John Groce, brought to you as always by the Wentz Financial Group. Well, two heartbreaking losses for the Zips this past week. Buffalo came to town Tuesday night and hit a last-second shot to beat Akron. Then Friday night, Akron missed a last-second shot that would have given them a big win over arch rival Kent State. And Coach, knowing what happened last week, knowing how competitive you are, how tough is it going to be to wait a full week to play again? No,
I'm not. I said after the game, I'm not a big bye-week fan, and really has nothing to do with the fact that we, lost the two games this past week. Yeah. I'm one of those guys. I don't like creating imbalance within league play. So some people have different opinions on that. That's okay. That's ours, but we've got to try to make the most of it. We're able to give guys a couple extra days off, which I think is important. I thought when we came back from Christmas after 4 or 5 days off, we really had a fresh mental, physical, and emotional mindset when we came back and way about us. I thought we were really good and looked rejuvenated, and I'm hoping that this week can create that same feeling and same mindset and heart set for our guys.
After the game on radio, you talked about being mentally tough, physically tough. Is it the same or is it a little different concept?
I tried to explain to the guys, our effort was terrific. Yeah. Kent's effort was terrific. Yeah. I felt that way live. I felt that way watching the film afterwards. It was a fist fight. It was a high level game. So the effort, there's a difference between effort and competitive toughness. For example, you're in a possession and it comes down to they're going to drive the ball to the rim and try to shoot a layup. You got to have enough competitive toughness where you're like, I'm not letting them do that. Yeah. And I thought there were key junctures in the second half where we didn't quite execute with the toughness that we needed to prevent them from doing what they wanted to do. They imposed their will on a few key possessions, especially on our defensive end, that I thought were a real difference in the game.
Well, let's go back to this past Tuesday night, pick up highlights from that game last week between Akron and Buffalo. Highlights brought to you by ESPN. And Coach, the Zips took on a Buffalo team that was really playing well. They had won, I think, 4 out of their last 5 games when they came to Akron.
No, they're really good. That obviously every team at this point on any given night, the way our league is, anyone's capable of beating anyone. And, the one good thing I will say, not only about the Buffalo game and the Kent game, but defensively, we played much better last week than we did the previous week. Ironically, we won both games, and I thought we, quote-unquote, out-offensed the opponent in those 2 games. So, I thought that our defense was much better. We still made some mistakes that we can get cleaned up. Offensively, obviously, we weren't nearly as efficient. And, some of it's shot making, but some of it is some of the fine details and the little things that I tell them make a big difference on that end of the floor. We need to do a little bit better.
Buffalo jumped out early in that game. As you watch highlights, 5-0. The Bulls increased their lead to 9, then 11 with 3:51 left in the first half. Boy, their guards, Johnson and Graves, were really quick against us.
Yeah, really athletic, explosive. They drive the ball really, really hard. They play really hard defensively, and they got after us. And, obviously I thought our response to that was really good. Guys showed, as we have all year. You've been with us, Joe. We've come back multiple times from double-digit deficits. That's been a real trend for our team. Our guys keep fighting, show a lot of courage, and made some plays, to get us back in the game and have a chance to win it there at the end.
Zips cut that lead 8 at the half. Then he come out really strong, Coach, in the second half. He were down by 10. Then he go on a 9-0 run to cut the Buffalo lead to 1 at 40-39. You're right back in the game.
Yeah, no, we were a lot of fight from our guys coming out of the half, and you see it starts there with or finishes there with a timeout by Buffalo, but I thought the first 4 or 5 minutes we really played with a lot of energy.
Shot 43% from the field in the second half to stay in the game, Coach, and then he made one final run late in the game to almost win that thing.
Yeah, down 7, right?
Yeah.
About between a minute and 2 minutes to go, and guys fought. We made a few plays, and the next thing you know, man, we're right there. We made some big shots, got some big stops, and then it came down to us getting a stop on that last defensive possession, and we weren't able to finish it off.
Saw how excited the bench was as Akron got back in the game, and then Lauren Christian Jackson gets fouled late in the game, Coach. He's going to shoot 3 free throws to tie it up, pressure free throws, but you told us after the game you had all the confidence in the world he was going to hit all 3 of them.
No question. I mean, our whole team, we've got a lot of confidence in him. You know, he's a guy that, you know, plays well in big moments and has done that all year and made some big plays for us. And it gave us, like I said, it gave us a chance to win the game. We just needed one more stop.
Yep.
On the defensive possession after the 3 made free throws.
Buffalo had the final possession, I think less than 10 seconds to go, and you were in that 1-3-1 defense, everything going right. The guy you wanted to take the shot took the shot.
Yeah, he made it over Cam Reese's outstretched arms, and you're right. I mean, he's a guy that shot 20. You see it there, 27% from 3 on the year, and was a guy that averages 3 or 4 points per game. And give the kid credit, man. He made a big shot, and then he comes right back here and blocks Christian's shot. Yeah. You know, obviously we had no timeouts left there, and makes 2 big plays back to back for him. So give Gabe Grant credit. He played and made the plays that he needed to make when they needed him.
Once again, the Zips had really well-balanced scoring, 4 players in double figures, and those big 4 have done it all season long for you, Coach.
They have. We've had great balance and great contributions from, you know, a lot of different guys on given nights who can score from different positions, which is great. Gives us a lot of versatility. And as I've talked about with our 5 position, we've basically platooned Reese and Riak. And used Sales as well. And when you look at those 3 guys collectively, they average over 10 points per game collectively, and they average over 10 rebounds per game collectively within the 40 minutes that they play that spot. So we're getting production from all 5 spots, and obviously that's a key to having a really good team. We're
going to talk about Cam Reese a little bit later in the program, but he's coming off that ankle. I would guess with a week's rest coming into the second half of the season, you're expecting some big things out of him.
No question. Obviously, he's an elite level athlete. I think it's been more a matter, Joe, of him getting used to the system and knowing what we need him to execute at both ends of the floor, the little details. Sometimes when you're a newcomer, you don't appreciate those as much as you should, and then you start to figure out, man, they determine how much I play, they determine how well we play, and I think he's kind of gotten to that point and has taken more pride in some of those details and has learned them better. So he knows what he's doing, and I expect him to be a guy that's no longer a newcomer here in the back half of the conference schedule.
Exactly. Well, the untimely death of Kobe Bryant affected everybody. If you were in the sports world or out of the sports world, it always affects athletes because they grew up watching Kobe play. We're going to talk to some of the University of Akron athletes, what they thought of Kobe, how it affected them after that death this past week. So don't go away. We're back right after this.
The difference with Wentz Financial Group is that we did not have a cookie-cutter answer to any of our clients' needs. Every day is completely different in the market, and every client situation is unique. We value the opportunity and responsibility to manage the hopes and dreams of our 3,000 customers nationwide.
Come see the difference Wentz Financial Group can make for your financial future. Wentz Financial Group. Investment management for your lifetime.
The University of Akron is more than a college or campus.
It's a connection to the community.
To the thousands of opportunities right here in Northeast Ohio.
And to the partnerships with employers and organizations.
Like the LeBron James Family Foundation, where we connect kids to life-changing possibilities.
It's the strength of UA, this city, and these connections.
It's where students make an impact on their community and in the world.
While still making an impact
in the classroom,
on the track,
in the boardroom,
and in my community.
That's what makes us the University of Akron.
Okay, welcome back to Zips Basketball Weekly with head coach John Groce. And Coach, let's pause here a minute because the untimely death of Kobe Bryant, I think, affected everybody across the country, really across the world. I know you were very tough on you and the players.
Yeah, no, it was hard. I think, and I said this past week, when Brad Stevens and I talked through text, and he said, John, he said, Kobe to the kids that you're coaching and that we're coaching right now in the NBA, to them is like Michael Jordan.
You're right.
In their when they grew up, in their generation, he's the guy they looked up to, and you know, he's right, because when I was younger, you know, every chance I got to watch Michael Jordan, I would do it. And
sure.
That was, you know, most everybody's favorite player. Yeah. But then as I got older and became a coach, and you start to study the game and mindset, and, you know, I don't think there's a guy that I've quoted more, showed more videos on, or audio sound bites than Kobe Bryant.
Yeah.
To my teams, to our players individually, discussions about his mindset, his approach to the game, and now later on in his career, I think you start to see his approach to life. Mm-hmm. So it was definitely a big loss, and you know, he's a guy that you know, I wanted my own kids to. They looked up to him.
Sure.
We bought all his children's books, the Wiz and Ard series. You know, Epoca was the most recent one that I bought my kids. We've read them together. You know, my 10-year-old and I have read Mamba Mentality together. And if you say why, it's because my hope was, no different than our team, that a lot of the intangible qualities that Kobe Bryant had as a person, a family man, a winner, how he thought, how he handled adversity, how he aspired to be excellent in everything that he did. I wanted that to rub off on my own kids.
Sure.
And our players. So it was a huge, huge loss. Obviously, you know, this week as it's proceeded, tried to do everything we can to continue to, you know, we addressed it with our team and to make it more of a celebration of his life and the legacy that he left than anything else.
Right now, let's watch and see how this event affected the players here at the University of Akron.
We were actually in there shooting, doing skill, and Channel had come in, and he told Coach something. I saw the look on Coach's face. I wanted to know, like, he just looked shocked. And I asked Channel, he told me Kobe died, and I was like, Kobe Bryant? He said, yeah. And it was just like, honestly, it was just disbelief all day. Like, somebody like that gone so soon is just heartbreaking.
I'm pretty sure, like, everybody that grew up around the same time I grew up, like, Kobe was our Michael Jordan, so it was very sad. It was tough. Like, it was just hard. It was just hard to see. So I cried.
It hit me. I was sad, but like when I got really emotional when I found out his daughter died too, because like she was a little girl and stuff like that. So like anything like that hurt your feeling. Then I got home, just was like just thinking about it. Started watching some Kobe highlights, and that's when I got emotional. Just broke down.
Very sad and heartbroken. You know, I looked up to him as I was growing up, but it was very sad. And then knowing his daughter, me having a daughter, it was real. That's when it got worse for me. That was his best friend.
It's hard to comprehend that, like, a guy that's just so, like, he's an idol, you know, like kind of immortal, and then like you just realize he's a human being just like the rest of us. That was crazy.
It was just constant, back home, it was just constant debates about him or LeBron, and then it's just like, I like to watch videos of him, just his footwork was amazing, and I just try to do what he did and just try to be the best player I can be.
One thing I always remember about Kobe was just his drive to become great. Growing up, I was the biggest LeBron fan, so that meant I had to hate Kobe at the same time, but I always respected his work ethic and his drive to become the best, and that never went unnoticed.
Just his mentality is what really, you know, stuck with me. It was kind of like just to eat or be eaten, and it's just like, you know, you got to put food on your table, and I think that was his mentality going into anything. He's just a competitor, and so that's just, you know, something I really took from him.
Whenever you talk about Kobe, everybody always talk about his mentality, how hard he worked, and I envy him for that, because, you know, I want to be as good as I can be. I want to be a legend like him.
Thank you, Kobe.
Thank you.
Thanks to Kobe.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kobe. Thank you for everything you've done.
Thank you, Kobe, for the time and the amount of hours and effort you've put into the game of basketball. It's translated and has impacted millions of people, as we've seen these past few days. And I can never thank you enough for what you've done for the game of basketball.
Thank you, Kobe, for doing what you do, being who you were, and just showing so much compassion on the floor and off the floor after you retired, how you handled your daughters and how you handled your family.
Thank you, Kobe, for inspiring, I think, young black men inspiring young men of all. I think especially now that he has his daughter, I think he inspires so many young women in the WNBA, impacting that world more. That's what I say thank you for.
Well, Coach, in a situation like that, it's always nice to have the players express their feelings instead of keeping it inside of them.
Yeah, no question. You know, we're one of those teams and programs where we try to be real and authentic, and I knew that, you know, it affected me and our staff, so I knew it was going to affect them as much or more. So we, you know, we attacked it this week and talked about it quite often and referenced it a lot and, you know, told some of the stories that we had shared about Kobe in the past. And, you know, I thought it was healthy to do that.
Sure. We're going to take a break and come back and watch highlights from that tough loss up at Kent Friday night right after this.
Roman was born with a hole in his heart. But thanks to the experts at Summa who found the problem and fixed it quickly, he's feeling 26 again. Not 76. Minimally invasive heart procedures, many performed in under 2 hours. Summa Health, vital for getting back in the game and more.
Right now, let's go back up to Kent State this past Friday night, pick up highlights from that tough loss to the Golden Flashes. And, Coach, a great atmosphere, full house up at Kent. That's what college basketball is all about.
Nah, just a phenomenal game, great environment, you know, players making plays. You know, I thought the effort by both teams was tremendous. And, you know, one of the greatest rivalries in college basketball.
You're exactly
that's
right.
what it's supposed to look like. And, unfortunately, you know, they got the W, we didn't. It came down really to just 2 possessions there at the end where we needed to get a stop and we weren't able to keep Whittington off the glass. And then on the last possession, we didn't quite get exactly, you know, what we wanted. And, you know, that ended up, you know, being the difference. Oftentimes in these games, Joe, it's just a possession or 2 or a shot made by somebody or a key stop at a key juncture. And that's how the game was. It was a fun game to coach in. I think our players enjoy competing in it, and obviously we'll get another crack at it here in a little bit here towards the end of the year.
Exactly. Zips jumped out early, 8-0. Lauren Christian Jackson and some big threes. Coach, it was a game of runs. Both teams giving up leads and fighting back. It was tied at 15. And then you go on a nice run late in the first half. You lead by 10 at 31-21.
Yeah, no question. It was a game of runs, and you expect that in this type of game. I've been a part of a lot of these rivalry games, and we did some good things. They did some good things. You know, a lot of body blows delivered by both teams, and like I said, just a really, really high-level game. And comes down to just a couple possessions here or there. There's some things that we certainly could have controlled a little bit better. I'm sure they probably feel the same way. But we've got to execute. You know, the little things do make a big difference. And we'll try to clean up what we can control and in an effort to get better before we lace them back up again against Eastern Michigan.
Now, Zips come out in the second half early and really allow Kent back in the game. I mean, a couple of turnovers. Tyler Cheese picks up his 3rd foul, and that was tough.
Yeah, I thought we were soft a little bit in some key junctures. That doesn't mean we're not playing hard. I want to be very clear. You know, we were playing really hard. But just, you know, you got to have a physical toughness and mental toughness about you to get it done. Thought we came out to start the second half a little soft, which is why I used the early timeout, Joe, just to remind them that we got to get back to being who we need to be. And we responded, as you can see here through the clips, and made some plays and made some big shots. And guys really stepped up, showed a lot of courage, played with a lot of heart. And so we've got to continue to build on that, especially what we did defensively throughout last week in the game against Buffalo and Kent. We've got to build on that type of defense that we played and see if we can get our offense clicking again.
Well, you got big three-pointers from Zarius Williams. He had a couple in the second half. Channel Banks got hot. Tyler Cheese with a nice dribble drive to the lane. Then Lauren Jackson, I think, ties it with the floater.
Oh, big-time shot.
Then it comes right down to that final possession.
Yeah, no, it did. You know, obviously we had a chance there to win it. On the last possession, we had the ball in Christian's hands, which we always feel great about. And, you know, we'd like to have tacked a little bit early there and use the action a little bit better. But, you know, we're all, you know, you're announcing and I'm over there in a sport coat. I'm not playing.
Yeah.
You know, those guys are playing. I trust our guys, and they tried to make a read and obviously maybe didn't get quite as clean a look as we'd have liked to, but give Kent credit, and they made the 2 plays they needed to make there to finish it off.
As Coach said, the Zips will play Kent State at least one more time, maybe a second time with a lot on the line. So don't go away. We're going to come back and announce our Player of the Week and our Player on the Rise right after this.
The difference with Wentz Financial Group is that we do not have a cookie-cutter answer to any of our clients' needs. Every day is completely different in the market, and every client situation is unique. We value the opportunity and responsibility to manage the hopes and dreams of our 3,000 customers nationwide.
Come see the difference Wentz Financial Group can make for your financial future. Wentz Financial Group. Investment management for your lifetime.
The University of Akron is more than a college or campus.
It's a connection to the community.
To the thousands of opportunities right here in Northeast Ohio.
And to the partnerships with employers and organizations.
Like the LeBron James Family Foundation, where we connect kids to life-changing possibilities.
It's the strength of UA, this city, and these connections.
It's where students make an impact on their community and in the world.
While still making an impact
in the classroom,
on the track,
in the boardroom,
and in my community.
That's what makes us the University of Akron.
Well, right now it's time to name our Player of the Week. And how about 6'9" senior power forward Zarius Williams? Had a great week last week, Coach. Back-to-back double-doubles against Buffalo and Kent. Tuesday night against the Bulls, Williams had 16 points, 10 rebounds. Then came back Friday night at Kent, 10 more boards, 15 points, including those clutch back-to-back three-pointers in the second half.
No, his consistency, Joe, in those 2 areas, scoring efficiently and rebounding in league play, has been terrific. You know, just had a great week for us.
Here we see him taking one of those back-to-back three-pointers. He was wide open at the top, and he didn't hesitate. He gets that open and gets his feet set. He's going to hit most of those.
Yeah, well, he shouldn't. You know, if you had that type of jumper, you'd let it fly too, wouldn't you, Joe? If you're open, you better shoot it, right?
There he is.
That's his job.
Yeah, he's an exciting player, an emotional player, and boy, he is fun to watch. How about our Player on the Rise, 6'7" junior Cameron Reese out of Oakland, California. Sheridan, Wyoming Junior College continues to give the Zips quality minutes off the bench against Kent. Reese had 6 points, grabbed 6 rebounds, blocked a shot, and had an assist. So he does a little bit of everything.
He did. I thought he really had a good way about him in the Kent game, and has really continued to grow and improve both on and off the court as a newcomer. Expecting big things from Cam.
There you see Reese in one of the big moments he had against Kent State on Friday night. That young man continues to get better and better. As we said, coming off a little bit of an ankle injury, but I think the best is yet to come for Cam Reese as we get ready for the second half of the season. And the second half of the season begins Saturday afternoon at home, 2 o'clock against Eastern Michigan. Coach, we've already seen these guys once. We beat them 69-45 on January 4th, but boy, they're coming off a huge win against Toledo.
Yeah, no question. Obviously a big win for them, and the first time we played them at this point means nothing on Saturday, other than we can take a look in terms of how we attack them, and they're going to do the same with us, and we'll both make some wrinkles to game planning and changes, and then we got to go out and play, and you know, the team that plays the best that day will win. You know, all these games are one-game entities. You can't get swayed mentally one way or the other.
They got a couple really good players. Yikes Montero had 26 points against Toledo, and Boubacar Touré, 6'10", 245 pounds, 10 points, 16 rebounds against Toledo. He's got to be one of the best big men in the league.
No question. He's a load. I mean, just his size alone makes it really challenging.
Of course, Eastern Michigan, Coach, you know what you're going to get, that 2-3 zone all game long.
Yeah, for 40 minutes, and you got to be able to attack it, and then you've got to be able to guard the bounce and deal with Touré inside with his enormous size. So it'll be a good challenge, and we've got to make sure that we're ready to go. But this week, as much as anything, I want to focus on us and what we need to get cleaned up here for the stretch run.
Coach, best of luck Saturday. We'll see you at the Rhodes Arena on Saturday afternoon, 2 o'clock tip-off, the Zips against Eastern Michigan, and back here next week with more Zips Basketball Weekly. Always remember, go Zips.
Wentz Financial Group presents Zips Basketball Weekly with John Groce, investment management for your lifetime. Hosted by Joe Dunn. Contributing sponsors include Summa Health, It's your health. Let's own it together. Hilton Akron Fairlawn, the preferred hotel of Zips Athletics. And the Spaghetti Warehouse, famous for its 15-layer lasagna.